Most diesel cars die early. These 7 habits took mine to 400,000 miles. Most diesel owners never see 200,000 miles on their engines. They deal with expensive repairs, premature failures, and constant maintenance headaches. But I'm about to share the 7 simple habits that took my diesel past 400,000 miles. And they're not what most people think. These aren't complicated maintenance procedures or expensive modifications. They're quiet, everyday habits that compound over time to create dramatically different outcomes. Some of them might even surprise you because they go against conventional wisdom. Make sure to watch till the end because habit number 7 costs almost nothing but prevents the most expensive diesel failures. Let me be clear up front. I'm not talking about babying your diesel or avoiding hard work. My vehicle has towed heavy loads, worked in extreme temperatures, and covered serious miles in tough conditions. These habits work precisely because they're practical and sustainable for real-world use. Habit number 1. I change my oil every 5,000 miles, regardless of what the manual says. Modern diesels have oil change intervals that can stretch to 10,000 or even 15,000 miles. The manufacturers aren't lying when they say the oil can technically last that long. But here's what they don't tell you about the real world. Diesel engines are hard on oil. They produce more soot, more acids, and more contamination than gasoline engines. Your EGR system recirculates exhaust gases that dirty the oil faster. Your DPF regeneration cycles create extreme heat that breaks down oil chemistry. I've seen oil analysis reports from diesels at 8,000 miles that look fine on paper, but the engine still developed bearing wear and carbon buildup. The oil might be chemically stable, but it's lost protective additives and accumulated contaminants that analysis doesn't fully capture. Changing oil every 5,000 miles costs about $300 more per year than following the 10,000-mile schedule. Over 500,000 miles, that's an extra $1,500 in oil changes. Compare that to a single engine rebuild at $15,000, and the math becomes obvious. Fresh oil is cheap insurance. It carries away contaminants, maintains proper lubrication under extreme loads, and gives you a margin of safety that extended intervals simply can't provide. Habit number 2, I use my engine's full RPM range regularly. This goes against everything most diesel owners believe, but it's crucial for long-term health. I regularly take my engine to 3,000 RPM and occasionally to 4,000 RPM under appropriate conditions. Modern diesels are designed to handle these RPMs safely. The red line exists for a reason, and staying well below it while occasionally using the full power band actually helps your engine in several ways. Higher RPM operation burns off carbon deposits that accumulate during low-speed driving. It helps complete DPF regeneration cycles more effectively. It keeps your turbocharger clean and your valve train properly exercised. Many diesel owners are terrified of RPMs above 2,000, thinking they're damaging the engine. The opposite is true. Diesels that never see higher RPMs develop carbon problems, incomplete regeneration cycles, and component wear from chronic underuse. I'm not suggesting you redline your engine constantly, but using the full designed operating range prevents the problems that plague diesels operated only at low RPMs. Habit number 3, I warm up properly and cool down consistently. This isn't about long idle times. It's about understanding thermal cycles and protecting expensive components. I never load my engine hard until it reaches normal operating temperature. Cold diesel fuel doesn't atomize properly, cold oil doesn't flow adequately, and cold metal expands differently than warm metal. Demanding full power from a cold diesel creates wear patterns that accumulate over hundreds of thousands of miles. My warm-up routine is simple. Start the engine, let it idle for 30 seconds while I check mirrors and adjust settings, then drive gently for the first 5 minutes. No wide-open throttle, no heavy loads, just normal acceleration and moderate power demands. The cool down is equally important. After hard driving, towing, or high-load operation, I let the engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds before shutdown. This allows the turbocharger to cool gradually with proper oil flow, preventing heat soak and extending turbo life. These thermal management habits cost nothing but prevent thousands in turbocharger and engine damage over the vehicle's lifetime. Habit number 4, I maintain my fuel system religiously. The fuel system is the heart of diesel performance and longevity. I change fuel filters every 15,000 miles, regardless of the recommended interval. I use high-quality diesel fuel whenever possible, and I add fuel system cleaner every 10,000 miles without fail. Modern diesel injection systems operate at pressures exceeding 30,000 psi. Even microscopic contamination can cause expensive failures. Water in diesel fuel is particularly destructive, causing corrosion and bacterial growth that can destroy injection components. I check my water separator regularly and drain it whenever I see moisture. I avoid fuel stations with obviously old or contaminated fuel. I keep my tank as full as practical to minimize condensation. The fuel system cleaner isn't just maintenance theater. High-quality cleaners designed for common rail systems actually dissolve deposits that form in injectors and combustion chambers. A $20 bottle of cleaner every 10,000 miles prevents injector problems that can cost $3,000 to repair. Clean fuel systems run more efficiently, produce fewer emissions, and last dramatically longer than neglected systems. Habit number 5. I pay attention to my cooling system. Diesels generate more heat than gasoline engines, and overheating even once can cause permanent damage. I check coolant levels monthly, not just when problems occur. I flush my cooling system every 60,000 miles with the proper coolant type for my engine. I never mix coolant types, and I never use plain water except in emergencies. I replace the radiator cap every few years because it's a critical pressure component that wears out. I keep my radiator clean externally, removing debris from the fins and ensuring proper airflow. A partially blocked radiator can cause overheating under load, leading to head gasket failures and engine damage. Most importantly, I address cooling system problems immediately. A small leak becomes a big problem quickly. A faulty thermostat can cause overheating or overcooling, both harmful to engine longevity. Cooling system maintenance is unglamorous, but overheating kills more diesel engines than almost any other single cause. Habit number 6. I drive my diesel like I mean it. This might sound contradictory to longevity advice, but diesels are designed to work. They thrive under load when operated properly. Babying a diesel actually creates more problems than working it appropriately. I don't avoid towing or hauling when that's what the vehicle was designed for. I don't creep up hills in the wrong gear to save fuel. I don't idle for extended periods trying to be gentle on the engine. Instead, I operate my diesel in its designed power band. I downshift when climbing hills to keep RPMs in the optimal range. I let the engine work under load rather than lugging it at low RPMs. Diesels that work regularly stay cleaner, run more efficiently, and develop fewer problems than diesels that are constantly underused. The key is working the engine properly within its design parameters, not avoiding work entirely. This approach has kept my diesel reliable and powerful throughout its 500,000-mile life. Habit number 7. I maintain detailed records and address small problems immediately. This habit might seem minor, but it's prevented more expensive failures than any other single thing I do. I keep a maintenance log with dates, mileage, and details of every service. I note unusual sounds, vibrations, or performance changes. I photograph problem areas and track their progression over time. When something seems off, I investigate immediately rather than hoping it goes away. A slight vibration might indicate a failing engine mount. An occasional rough idle could signal injector problems. A small coolant leak often precedes major cooling system failure. By catching problems early, I've prevented countless major failures. A $200 repair caught early often prevents a $5,000 catastrophe later. I also maintain relationships with qualified diesel technicians who know my vehicle's history. Having someone familiar with your specific diesel who can spot developing problems is invaluable for long-term reliability. The detailed records help identify patterns and predict when components might need attention. They also provide valuable information when selling or trading the vehicle. Here's the thing about these 7 habits. None of them are revolutionary or expensive. They're all based on understanding how diesel engines work and what they need to thrive over hundreds of thousands of miles. The magic isn't in any single habit, it's in consistently applying all of them over time. They compound and reinforce each other to create a level of reliability that most diesel owners never experience.